Besides synonym and antonym, there are other kinds of lexical relations as well. For instance, we're looking at an entry for the French word for cat, and if we zero in on this area here, we can see that it's got this abbreviation gen, and then it's pointing at the word animal or animal. Now, when there's a reference within an entry, usually it turns into a live link. So if I move my cursor, I can see that it changes to the pointing finger. And that means I can simply click on it, and that will take me over to that entry. And that's true in the preview view in Flex or the dictionary view, or also on Webinary. Here, the abbreviation is SPEC, and it lists 3 other words, which stand for cat, dog, and lion. And so this word means specific. So an animal is actually a generic term, and some specific examples of animal are cat, dog, and lion. And when I was in the cat entry, it said the generic label that applies to things like cats is animal. And so here is a lexical relation where the label for it is different in the 2 entries. When we're looking at antonym, both entries had antonym. And for synonym, if there's more than one, then you have the synonym label in all of them. And so these are a lot of different kinds of lexical relations, and sometimes they have the same label or different label, and sometimes it's one-to-one. And so you may be wondering, where is all that controlled, or where can I learn what lexical relations are available? For that, we need to go to the lists area. If we go to the lists area, then we need to look for the list called lexical relations. So we will click on that list. And here's a list of the different lexical relation types that are currently available in this project, and you can create more if you need them. So here we're looking at antonym, and we're told that this is a sense pair. And what that means, the first word, sense, tells you it's a relationship between senses. This relationship relates to the meaning, and so it's at the sense level. And then the second word tells you about the structure of this relationship. In this case, it's a pair, which means that it's a one-to-one relationship. And then here it says, for example, antonym. Now, this is just an example. This does not mean that only antonyms can be sense pairs. There are other relationships that could be a sense pair, or you could create one. It's just putting this example here to help you visualize what sense pair actually means, that antonym is a canonical lexical relation that uses this structure. Let's look at another one. Let's look at synonyms. Here it tells us that it's a sense collection. So it's still at the sense level, and then collection tells you that it's a many-to-many relationship. There are a lot of words that could be synonyms. It could be a set of several words, 2 or more, and they're all in the same set. And again, for the example, it's telling you about synonym because that's kind of the canonical example, but other lexical relation types could also be a sense collection. Now, we were just looking at the one called spec, or specific. Now notice this one is a sense tree, which means, again, it's a relationship between senses, but the part tree means that it's a one-to-many relationship. That at one end of the relation there's a single word, and at the other end there could be many. It could be only 1 or 2 or more or 5 or 10 or more. And so that's what a tree means, is that it's a one-to-many relationship. Now notice that this has 2 kinds of names. There's the name and there's the reverse name. And in this case, the reverse name is the one that's the generic. Usually there's only one generic, and there could be many specifics. So the name is the many part. And so when you are creating a relationship of the type sense tree, be sure to fill in both the name and the reverse name, and also make sure you fill in the abbreviations, because those are the ones that are going to show up in the dictionary. If you were to leave the reverse abbreviation and the abbreviation blank, you would see asterisks in your dictionary entry, and that would be confusing. So this control is actually a menu, and this lists all of the different kinds of structures or relationships that lexical relations can be. And notice that for the first word, you get a choice of, is it between senses or between entries, or is it entry sense? And this kind is actually more confusing to use if it can point to either an entry or a sense. I often try to stick with either the entry kind or the sense kind, but entry sense is available. And then the second word can be either a collection, a pair, a tree, or a sequence. And again, collection is many items, pair is one-to-one. On your pair, you might have different relation names on opposite ends of the pair, and a tree is many to one. And I won't go into sequence or scale right now. When you create a custom lexical relation, you want to think carefully about which one of these you want to choose for it, what the structure of the relationship will be, because once you choose it, it's awkward to have to change it later.